Okay, this is recreating a situation where you go back in time when you didn't have speed loaders and you didn't have speed strips, but you had 5 shots in the revolver and you had, say, like 14 rounds here in a pouch. And all the bullets in the pouch are facing the same direction, this way right here. So I'm going to show you the belt and the pouch when I get done here, and I did do a time trial on this. Now, the extreme scenario situation is you have a 5-shot revolver, okay? Once again, you don't have speed loaders or speed strips, but you have loose ammo, say like in a pouch. So, an extreme situation would be 3 opponents, okay? And that's very extreme. And here you are, you're the defender. These guys all have guns, and let's say there's a confrontation out on the street. These guys draw their guns. Let's say that you fired 5 shots. However you want to play it out, what happened to these guys, you can play it out however you want. But let's say that these 2 guys are either incapacitated or they took off on you, okay? So very rare 3 people are going to come behind when you take cover. So what you've done is you've shot your way to cover, and then this guy here, he wants to come after you, which is extremely rare. He wants to come after you while you're reloading. So the reloading method is you don't have speed strips or speed loaders, so what you're going to do is you're going to reload 1 round really quickly, and I'm going to show you on camera when I put my camera up on the stand here what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you how you can get away with just loading 1 round, being prepared for him coming around the corner, and then taking your shot rather than fumbling and trying to load, 5 chambers here in this cylinder. So I'll show you that soon here. Okay, here we are again. Now, you just shot 5 rounds when you didn't need to. You could have gotten a cover and just used a couple rounds, but let's say that you spent all 5, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to hit this latch here, but then when the cylinder comes open, you're going to take your index finger right here and your thumb, and obviously what you're going to do is keep your finger and your thumb inside the flutes there, and then a lot of you are going to slap it right here. You're going to slap it right here so all them rounds come out, and we see that they all came out. And you're going to be carrying ammunition that comes out of the cylinder rather than sticks, because if ammo sticks, that's going to slow you down. So you're going to test your defense ammo and make sure it comes out smoothly. And you're going to test with full length 357 and 38s. The reason why you want to practice with 357 is because the shells are longer. So here you are, you got your index finger and your thumb right here, but notice how the cylinder is lined up. I got the 3 o'clock position right here. That 3 o'clock position, when I grab a round now, I can put it in there. I can drop it in there, and what I can do is raise that chamber up going to the top of the revolver like this, and then fire. And then this guy here that came around the corner, that would be my last shot, and I'd have to make it count for this guy coming to me. And let's say he got wounded and he was struggling and stuff like that, but he still had the gun, and you ran to another piece of cover, then you would do the same thing. You would open it up. Notice that my thumb and my index finger are right here. The reason why you want to do it this way is because when you put the bullet in, notice how it slips right in. Whereas if you hold it somewhere else, notice you try to get it in, and it might contact the rubber right here. Some guys like to remove that part of the rubber there. I don't, because I always just automatically use my index finger and my thumb. So here you are again. You're loading 1 more round. You got that one, and you can keep going. If you practice doing this, you can keep going quite a bit. I'll show you here. So imagine you're reaching in your pouch for just one round so that you can get this guy quickly rather than loading all five. That would slow you down and possibly get you killed. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, what about a semi-automatic? Shouldn't you have that? I'm not talking about semi-automatics here. I'm talking about if you have a revolver and you don't have a speed loader or speed strip for some reason. And I'm talking about old school. Like, how would I defend myself if I had a 5-shot revolver back then? And some of the stuff that I'm showing you, this is the way they did it back then. Sometimes they would just load one round, finish the guy off that came to them, whereas the other guys are running away. So here we are. So this guy's coming towards you, and hopefully you'll be able to get that loaded before he gets around the corner. So I'm going to show you really quickly how it can go if you practice it. So here I am. Now I've dumped the shells out. Now I've reached in my pouch, and I am going to show you the pouch and the belt here. So I grab one round. See how smooth that is? Isn't that a lot better than loading all five? It's a lot quicker. Now, somebody says, it's only one round though. Yeah, it is. But here's the thing. Full power, 357 Magnum. That's a nice load, isn't it? Rather than a 38. You could do something like that. You want to make sure that none of the rounds are sticking. I'm talking about the live rounds that you fire on the range. You never want any rounds to stick, because that is going to slow you down. So you want to make sure you choose your defense ammo that doesn't stick. So I'm going to show you how proficient you can be with this if you keep practicing. And I do practice this old school method. So here we go. Notice I'm not making any mistakes. And when you have the bullets in the pouch, you're going to lay them all the same direction. But see how fast you can line up that cylinder there? Or line up the chamber? Because what you're doing is you're taking the chamber that's empty right here and you're putting it up on the top here. So what you're doing is you're not spinning it, okay? You're not spinning it. What you're doing is you're using your index finger and your thumb to push it straight up like that. So I'm going to go through all of these. Let's see how many I have. I'm going to show you. I think I got about 14 of these, something like that. So I'm going to show you all of these and how proficient you can be. Like in your pouch now, you're going to have them all facing the same direction. And there'll be a couple rows, and the rows will probably look like this in the pouch. Something like that right there in the pouch. So here we go. So I'm going to show you quickly. I'm looking through my camera, so it's a little bit difficult for me because I'm watching the camera at the same time. Notice that single shotgun we got here. This is just a single shot revolver right now. So that's what we're converting this into for this experiment here. And I'm going to show you my times that I time myself on this revolver to show you that if you had an extreme situation where you didn't have speed strips or a speed loader to begin with, or say you had the speed strip and speed loader but you used it all up for some freaky reason, you didn't use your ammo properly because you didn't train, you didn't use your cover wisely. There's many things that people blame the revolver on, and it's usually their bad tactics and their lack of training that they refuse to do with a revolver, because you want to use your shots wisely. And when you want to use some powerful rounds too, so 357 Magnum or 38 if you can handle 38 only. I understand that, the recoil and stuff like that. But we're talking 7 yards. The most that'll happen is you might have a couple of, maybe 2 attackers at the most. 7 yards, it's only going to be 3 seconds. Because usually what they found out is that the perps, when you shoot back at them, they all run, okay? So that's another thing, is that aspect of it. So if you look at all the defense situations that go down, mostly, almost 9.99% out of 10, what's going to happen out of every 10, what's going to happen is you're going to fire a shot or just show the gun and everybody's taken off. That's usually what happens. So now I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to show you the pouch setup here. Okay, so this here would be on the right side like this. And what this is this is a pellet pouch. Now, there are some people that are online that are real handy with making pouches and different things like that. It'd be interesting to make a better pouch for the rounds, but this is a pellet pouch by Crossman. It's used to hold 500 pellets, but what I'm doing is I'm using this as a dump pouch in a way. And dump pouches, if you know anything about them, they're upside down of this. So they usually have a thing on the bottom where you grab a couple rounds. But I feel that this is a nice idea here. And what you do is you layer your bullets like this, and usually the 357 Magnum ones stay pretty straight. So what you're doing is when you're reloading now, after that one round that you had, let's say that you did have to eject one round because you've already fired that one round from cover. You fired that from cover, but let's say that you need another round, even though he's not fully incapacitated, and you've run to another piece of cover, but he still wants to come. So let's say that extreme situation where he's injured, you're going to dump that round out, get a new one in, and you're ready to go, just like that, right out of the pouch. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm going to show you my times. Oh, actually, I don't have to show you my times. Here's showing that I did it 50 times, and my average was 650. And this is me doing this, that I haven't done this for a very long time, so my times can get down quicker. So 6.50 seconds was my average out of 50 tries, and that's cold turkey. That's not practicing for a long time on these single rounds. So that my average time is 6.5. So what'll happen is if you practice, you'll just get better and better at that. And the idea is that 6.5 seconds is enough time so that if this dude decides to come over by your cover here, if he decides that he still wants to shoot it out with you, but he's too close and he comes around to your cover, then you've got that extra round. And like I'm saying, you shouldn't have spent all 5 rounds to begin with. You should have just fired, say, like 2 rounds and kept 3 for your cover, because the 2 rounds are the ones, let me see here. The red ones represent the fired rounds, okay? We got 2 fired rounds, and we got, let's say that these are live rounds here. So what you should do is go by 2s, and you guys seen my video on 2s. So you fire 2 rounds, and what happens is these 3 guys, like I was saying, usually just a shot fired or something like that usually scatters all your opponents and they run. That's usually what happens. But I'm talking about somebody that's dedicated, that really does want to come to your piece of cover, which is this box right here. Somebody's dedicated and they really want to come around to your cover. This is how it should look right here. You fired 2 rounds, but you still got 3 left for this dude here. But if you guys threw away your ammo and you fired all 5, now you've got a problem because you're going to cover, and that's the scenario I'm explaining. But once again, we're not talking about speed strips. We're not talking about speed loaders here. So what we're doing is we go around to cover and we fire 2 shots, okay? Now, if I'm in the middle of taking out this one, for example, and he comes around the corner, I don't have to finish taking this one out. I don't have to finish taking this one out either. I can just close it and shoot. But if I know that I got some time, if I know that he's over here and he's looking for me, but he's a good distance off, and I can still see him a little bit, I can pluck these two out right here, go into my pouch, grab 2 rounds and put them in. Oh, these are the fired ones. Okay, grab 2 live rounds. Purple's dedicated for fire or for live rounds, and the red ones are dedicated for as being fired for my examples. So you got 2 rounds in here, now you got 5. Okay, so you're ready to rock and roll. So why do I do hard things like this? Because I like doing things that are a challenge. I love the challenge more than anything. Would I do this in real life? Probably not. I'd probably have, I always have speed loaders and speed strips on me. Plus I have spare ammo in here or in my pocket. So I always got about 25 rounds on me anyway. But I love the challenge of going back in time and putting myself in the shoes of others that went before me that might have had a scenario where they didn't have speed strips and speed loaders. How would you defend yourself? What tactics would you use? And I'm showing you some of the tactics that I would use, and some of these tactics were already well known back in the day, but it never passed on to us because a lot of us don't know police officers and people that have been in gunfights with revolvers way back then. A lot of the guys have passed away. Guys like in the 50s and the 40s when they had a revolver and they just had the dump pouches and stuff. And they were really good at draws and stuff, despite what people think online, because we have the internet today. And the thing you guys have to understand about the internet today is you're going to see Jerry McCulloch and all these quick draw guys. But back then, these guys were fast. These guys practice all the time. Okay, because the old school police were good back then. They had to be, because you've only got 6 shots and you've got to load that revolver back up again. Now, it's true that they might have had a shotgun or a rifle. But the thing is that speed with this revolver, getting that first shot on the perp as fast as you can, was the difference between life and death. Getting that first shot. Even if it wasn't perfect center mass, okay? You should go for accuracy, but let's say that it wasn't perfect center mass and you startled him and you threw him off. So he was, he got hit and he knew it. Well, then you fire the second shot where it needs to go and the third shot where it needs to go. So it's that first round that starts the process of him knowing that he's been hit and starts the process of incapacitation. So I'm not saying that accuracy doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that you have to get out the gun very fast to use that accuracy properly. So that first shot, even if you throw it in a non-lethal area, he's going to know he's been hit, especially if it's full power 357 Magnum. I mean, he isn't just going to stand there, okay? He's going to know he's been hit by something. And during that 1/10 of a second or whatever it is, you're already pulling the trigger for the next round. You see what I'm saying? So it's that first shot. It's that first shot on the perp is what you want. As fast as you can. Even though you have a target, let's say that this is I usually go by a 4-inch standard here. Even if you go by a 4-inch standard like I do, let's say that you miss that. This is the heart, okay? Okay, you threw your shot, no big deal, make it up. Make it up, okay? But get that gun out fast and fire that first shot, even if it's here or here. Just make sure that your follow-up shots, you want them to drop that blood pressure, or of course the headshots. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, you guys.